What's up, guys? So in this video I'm going to be doing analytics. Unfortunately, I was supposed to do this machine while I was like beforehand. Like I wanted to show you my whole process, how I'm building my methodology, show you all the rabbit holes, my thinking, all of that. But unfortunately, like right when I got the user flag, that's when I realized, oh shit, I should have recorded this, and I forgot about doing it. So I ended up completing it, and then I was like, you know what, I'll just make the video still, and I will show you all the rabbit holes I went through, um, so you have an idea of what I'm doing. So the first thing that I do is I run three types of scans. Over here is what I did. I ran three types of scan. First is an all port scan with the min rate of 500. This is something which is a personal choice of mine, and from there I found that port 22 and port 80 is open. Then I used TAC SC and TAC SV to enumerate the scripts and enumerate the versions. So here is the information that I got from it. And then from there I did a UDP port scan and top 100 because UDP takes a long time, and we just had this which is filtered pretty much. So from here the thing to note is number one is OpenSSH is 8.9, which is not really exploitable, so we can remove that. Yes, you could do a brute force on this right away using they have some default credential type list in seglist, but I did not bother with that because that is usually never the way. And we start off with port 80. So I went straight to port 80, and over here it says it gives the host name of analytical.hackthebox. So from here, let's just copy this and put this into our executable slash host file. So I can just take this, put it here, and take this, and there we go. So now that we got this over here, if we go to the web page, my first step is always to look around, touch all the buttons, see what the hell is going on in the page. So the first thing is I read through everything very carefully. I noted any links of anything. As you can see, if I hover over read more, it shows this thing at the bottom. I don't know if I can like move it like right over here at this point, at this area right over here. It shows you where this button is taking you. So if it has that hash, it's not taking you anywhere. It's just the same page. So if, for example, I click this, nothing happens. So I was like hovering over each one, seeing what the hell is going on in this, reading through it. This didn't take me anywhere. Nothing else was clickable, none of that. And the first thing that I did was I noted the users on this website. So I made a, let me just go over here. I made a users file and I noted down all the users. So John Smith, it's Alex dude, and this Danielle Walker. So from here, I also made a notes file, and from here I noted, this is where I just put my things that I want to note. And over here I noted this email, analytical.com, so I can put this over here. And from there I tried, and I also saved this one over here. Just copy this and saved it. So now that I have these two emails, just to know in case, which could come in handy, I know that none of the links are working, so I went to the very top and I started looking at these. So from here, about didn't take me anywhere, just the same page. This one as well. Service does the same. Contact does the same. And before I start playing around with the contact form, I just want to get a layout of what the hell the website is doing. So, and then I go to login page, and it takes me to this other, the subdomain. So with the subdomain, I added to my executable slash host file. So right over here, nano slash host, and I can put this over here. and from here we get a sign-in page on Metabase. So before we can, before I started, well, actually I did start playing around with this right away. I went to Google over here and I wrote Metabase default credentials, default creds. And over here, I was taking a look at it, and it's showing over here admin at metabase.local password config, and this one as well. When I click this, it showed me avoid common user, whatever, as well as this. It's showing me an idea of what it could be. So from here, I did admin. I actually tried this one specifically, and then I changed the end to analytical, or whatever this is called. If I go to notes, from notes, yeah, analytical, right, .com. I changed it to that, and I tried each one with the config password as well as this, and none of them ended up working. So the only reason why I went straight to trying, even though I should take a greater look at the land, is just because I wanted to find something easy, just get an easy access type thing. I didn't want to, like, when you get access usually through this page, then, but from there, the next thing that I do with my methodology is look at the source code for all of this. So I went over here and started looking through the source code. Nothing was found. And from here, then I went to this source code. Just go over here. And I was like, perhaps there's a version number over here or something that I could use. So I went over here and wrote version, and there's nothing that I found particularly over here. So obviously you should play around. Don't write version, just write ver first and play around with it. But yeah, it's kind of difficult to find in this type of scenario, but always take your time when looking through this. And then from here, what I did was, and this is from just experience, is it's a good idea to see what type of exploit Metabase has in general. So what I did was I copied this and I did search exploit, and then I wrote Metabase. And right away it came as one exploit for this. Pre-authentication, remote code execution, basically implying we don't need creds and we can get remote code execution. So when a scenario like this comes, this is usually the exploit used to get a foothold. So from here I can do search exploit, and I copy this, and right away I wanted to try this if it works. So I did Python 3. If you just put the code without anything, it will show you how to run the code. From here, if I wrote Python 3 and just put it here, so my IP, the port, which port was this? Oh, the port I wanted to connect back to. So this is going to be used on my machine. This is the URL, and then P port. This, I think, it's the binding port for this. Obviously, I'm using port 8000. If you're going to use something like 80, it's best to run it with the sudo at the start. But I'm using 8000 over here. So when I run this, I immediately get. Let's just let it run. It's like a shell. So I wrote ID, and right after that, I know it's working. So my first goal now is to get a stable shell because this was very unstable. So what I did was I did sudo netcat lvnp 445, and from here I went to revshell.com. So let's remove all of this and go to revshell.com. And I need to know what type of binaries are in this. So what I did was ls dash slash bin. This should give us all of the binaries and whatever. I was trying Python. Python wasn't here, so I took another way out, which was BusyBox, which was installed over here. But Python was not over here. So from here, I can just write my IP, write the port that I want to connect back to, and I did BusyBox right over here. And we got our connection back. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a full TTY on this, but I didn't think I needed it. Eventually, if you write hostname during your enumeration of this, you realize that you get this gibberish type of things, right? So I'm expecting this a Docker container. And from here, if you do ls-ail, you notice that there is a Docker environment folder that probably has variables. It has probably environment variables assigned to it. And most likely in this Docker container, there's like a user environment variable and a password for that user. So if you do env, you'll notice that over here, there's a password. Right over here, metapass password and metalytics. Right. So don't bother going to executable/passwords. These are not the users in the machine technically, because as you can see, this user over here is not even listed in that. But right then and there, you can try it with you can do SSH with this user. So I'm gonna go over here, SSH, and this is what I wrote. Great. So right then, SSH into it, and where the hell is password? Right here. So from here, if I do ls, you will see that there's a file called linps. Forget about the exploit one. I'll get to that here later. I didn't remove this. I should have restarted this whole thing. But you'll bring in linps into the machine, and then you'll run linps. And from here, you should take notes of everything. You should write them down. So if you go to your node file over here, notes. So let's go nano notes. Over here, I would put information for Privesc. So first things first is this. It's good to know. And plus, as the pseudo version is very, you know, sorry, not pseudo version, the operating system is not up to date. It does not seem so. That's why we're noting this. And we can just right, Privesc. This is the first thing. And from here, let's get to the second thing to note. I scrolled down and I also noticed, I looked at, I saw these, I actually went into depth. I was enumerating log rotates version as well. Fortunately, that's not exploitable. But I did manually go into this and try to check if anyone was misconfigured indirectly. From here, let's see what else we got. And I looked around everything. I found this port 3000 was open, so I also noted this as well, in case we have to use shizzle for this. So I noted this as well. And the next thing that I noticed was there's one more thing over here that I noted. But I don't think it's showing right now. But yeah, I took a look at everything and there wasn't really anything that I could see pretty much. SUID, check easy privesc exploit and write permissions. I don't think this was showing before, but yeah, probably was not. So I'm going to leave this out of this right now. And it's probably because I exploited this and that's what the exploit did. But I'll get to that in a second, kind of being a spoiler. But yeah. From this, I didn't find, there's one more thing. I just wanted to see if I can quickly see it over here. There's one more thing that I noted, but just can't find it right now. Okay, strange. And it was probably right over, I feel like it was over here. But yeah, there was one more thing I noticed, noted it as well, which was showing the first scan. But I have no idea what the hell, why that was showing in that specific color, but I still noted that in the back end. I was like, I'll put this in the side. And the first thing that I did was check this out, Linux version. Since I didn't have any obvious things, I straight up went to the version, finding a Linux version for Privesc. When I wrote this, I wrote jammy as well, and then I wrote priv-esc. From here, I got this one, which was interesting, and obviously I want to read what this exploit is doing, and clearly it says that it would work on Ubuntu 22.04 LST Jammy Jellyfish, which is our version. Great. Kernel 6.2. If we check this out, 6.2. And from here I was like, okay, let me just get it. So obviously you can just copy this from here and put it in a text file over here. So, and that's exactly what I did. So if I go to ls, I just brought this exploit over here. If I go to cat exploit, that is pretty much the whole thing that I copied. You can run exploit and you would automatically get root, but because this exists, it's not working. These files didn't exist before, so what I can do is just remove L, let's see, L, M, U, W. Wait, it's not removing for some reason. Okay, yeah, that's working. MUW. Great. So let's see if it works now. It does. Great. So there's the root ID. Let's go to root. And you should see the root flag or root.txt flag right over here. And that's basically it. That's how I did the box. Unfortunately, I didn't record the whole process, but I told you exactly every single thing that I did, and this is how I kind of rooted this box. So, yep, that's about it. Take care, guys, and I'll try to do another box later.